Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. John Oliver calls decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel live laughably weak as he responds to the show's suspension. John Oliver is speaking out about Jimmy Kimmel's show being pulled from ABC. The Last Week Tonight host, 48, addressed ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel live after Kimmel's September 15th monologue about Charlie Kirk during his show on Sunday, September 21st. A person getting shot is tragic, and a person getting shot for their ideas is horrifying. And for many, especially those who are the targets of some of Kirk's ideas, it has been hard to stay quiet, Oliver said. He continued, adding, setting all of that aside, it does seem like some are now willing to weaponize Kirk's death to do things they've been wanting to do for years, whether it's going after liberal groups, trans people, under some shamelessly flimsy pretext, which brings us back to Jimmy Kimmel. Oliver called the administration's decision to pull Kimmel's show a weird response, stating, "It's not news that the administration's been wanted to get rid of shows like his. The pretext that's been used to indefinitely suspend Kimmel's show is just laughably weak," said Oliver. The comments that got him trouble weren't about Kirk, he continued as he then showed a post from Kimmel, 57, sharing his condolences to Kirk's family following his death. What got Kimmel in trouble was a passing reference on Monday night, continued Oliver. Now at the time there were still rumors flying around regarding the killer's motivations, including that he was on the far right, something that Kimmel alluded to like this. Yeah, that was it. The host also mentioned that he was a guest on the same episode of the show, and said he didn't even register that comment. The point is, Kimmel didn't denigrate Charlie Kirk or make light of his killing, Oliver continued. The worst thing you could say is that he appears to have been wrong about the shooter's ideology, which, okay. But he was also pointing out that many on the right seem desperate to weaponize Kirk's death, an argument that's aged pretty well, given, everything that's happened to Kimmel since. Oliver also called out FCC Chair Brendan Carr for pulling Kimmel's show, stating that the company badly needs FCC approval. He said, "It is hardly surprising that when Carr specifically said companies should pull Kimmel off the air or face consequences, it quickly complies." Oliver called the suspension of Kimmel's show as a turning point, stating that, if the government can force a network to pull a late-night show off the air in plain view, it can do of a lot worse. Oliver's comments come after ABC shared the news about Kimmel on Thursday, September 17th, following the longtime TV personality's on-air comments about the death of right-wing political commentator Charlie Kirk. Kirk was the founder of the conservative advocacy group Turning Point USA, and a close ally of President Donald Trump. During his live monologue on Monday, September 15th, Kimmel said, "The MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." In between the finger-pointing, there was grieving. The decision from the network arrived 1 week after Kirk was fatally shot while speaking at a campus event at Utah Valley University. Nexstar Media wrote in a statement that it strongly objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. The company recently announced plans to acquire rival broadcast company Tegna for $6.2 billion, putting Nexstar in 80% of America's TV-owning households, per a press release. The acquisition requires final approval from the Trump-controlled Federal Communications Commission. While Kimmel has been on the air since 2003, Oliver's Last Week Tonight with John Oliver debuted on HBO a decade later. The talk show was replaced in the ABC schedule on Wednesday night by a taping of Celebrity Family Feud. In a stunning and high-engagement moment that sent ripples through Hollywood and Washington, Last Week Tonight host John Oliver delivered a fiery rebuke to Disney's ABC over its decision to indefinitely suspend Jimmy Kimmel live. The British comedian did not mince words, labeling the network's justification for pulling the popular show as a laughably weak pretext, and warning that the move marks a dangerous turning point for free expression on broadcast television. The controversy stems from Kimmel's recent monologue comments following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. While Kimmel had posted a heartfelt message of condolence, his on-air remarks criticized what he termed the MAGA gang for attempting to characterize the alleged shooter as anything other than one of them, and for weaponize Kirk's death for political gain. This mild critique was enough to trigger an outcry from right-wing figures, including FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, who explicitly warned that companies should pull Kimmel off the air or face consequences. Within days, ABC's parent company, Disney, caved to the pressure, announcing an indefinite suspension, a move that Oliver believes had little to do with Kimmel's comments and everything to do with political coercion. On his Sunday night show, Oliver dedicated his main story to the saga, meticulously dismantling the rationale behind the suspension. He pointed out that Kimmel's troublesome remark was merely a passing reference, and that the comedian's central point, that many on the right were desperate to politicize Kirk's death, had ironically aged pretty well, given the ensuing media frenzy and the network's own reaction. Oliver blasted ABC and Disney CEO Bob Iger for giving the bully your lunch money, suggesting that by quickly complying with external pressure, the company has only emboldened future attempts to police speech. He described Kimmel as the latest canary in the coal mine, signaling a growing threat to satirical and critical voices in the media. The pretext that's been used to indefinitely suspend Kimmel's show is just laughably weak, Oliver asserted. He argued that the true danger lies not in Kimmel's joke, but in the precedent set by a government-pressured network pulling a major late-night program in plain view. The outspoken host went further, urging viewers to exert pressure on the media giant by canceling their Disney Plus and Hulu subscriptions, and to be specific that the reason was refusing to protect freedom of speech. Oliver closed with a direct, galvanizing message to Disney's leadership, imploring them to stand up and use the only phrase that can genuinely make a weak bully go away, which he emphatically stated was, "F*** you make me."